Hello, and welcome to this tour of the Vistage website. My name is Andy Ramirez, and I'm the Vice President of Digital Products here at Vistage. It's my job to make sure that the Vistage platform serves you as a member and helps you get the most out of your membership. So I'm going to show you a tour of the website today and give you a couple tips and tricks that'll help you maximize your membership and get more out of your group meetings. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to log in. Many of you may have not logged in before or may not remember your username or password. If you go to my.vistage.com and you click on Forgot Your Password right here below the login button, you can type in your username or your email address and you'll be sent an email that allows you to reset your password. So now that we've gotten our password, let's log in and take a look at what to expect. The first thing I want to show you is your homepage. We've centered Vistage around your group. It is most important that you interact with your fellow members and that you interact with your chair and that you do everything you can to prepare for your meetings so that you get the most out of the time you have with your fellow members. One of the things that you can do from the website as soon as you log in, for instance, is start a discussion. If I'd like to start a discussion with my group, I can just ask my question or ask my discussion, put in a little bit of detail into the body, and post it right from the home page. That way, within just a couple of clicks, I've now engaged my group in a meaningful discussion outside of the group meeting, getting more out of Vistage between the day we're in session and the time I spend with my chair. Let's go back to the home page and see what else you can do. As you can see here on my home page, I've got a calendar that shows my upcoming meetings. I've got content from my group here on the home page. I've got my discussions. I can start with my group. I can upload files to my group and propose issues. There's actually more that you can do with your group that I'd like to show you, but I want to show you that most of it is available right here from the home space. Now, let's actually click into the group. In this case, we're going to do it by just clicking on my group's name here at the top. Once you're in the group, you see a little bit more. I see my discussion. I see some of the audio and video from my group. I can see that I've got some more resources available here on the right-hand side, like my group roster, my group's issues and goals. I can start a discussion, write a document, or I can even click on More Actions and go through a couple of other options to interact with my group. The group also has the ability for you to take a look at all the group's content as a history. Some of your groups have content going back years. As a new member, it would benefit you to go back and take a look at what your group has posted because it helps you understand what your fellow members are all about. This is, in fact, why you would want to have discussions in your group versus having them via email or having them outside of the Vistage website. When you have discussions in your group in between meetings, it helps new members get caught up on what's been going on a lot sooner, meaning they're able to provide feedback and meaningful input to the group long before they would otherwise. Here, when I'm looking at the group content, I can actually filter it by discussions or blog posts. I can filter it by just the audio, so I could go listen to all the audio from the group, and I can even take a look at issues and goals. It's a great way to get started with your group, and I want to show you actually posting an issue because some of you may not have tried this yet. When you click on More Actions here in the group, one of your options is to create a new issue. Creating an issue is the same as any other piece of content. It's just got a few other questions that we ask. You'd put in a subject to your issue. You'd put in a description of the opportunity. You'd put in a description of what's significant, an estimated value, your ideal outcome, and a few other things that help your members understand your issue better. Now, I want to take a moment to explain that you don't have to put every bit of detail into these boxes. If something in your issue is a little bit more sensitive than you'd like to put online, it's perfectly okay to say to be discussed in meeting when talking about particular areas of the issue. The idea is to give your fellow members enough information that when you show up to the meeting, they have better questions to ask you and you get a better result. Now let's go back to our group. Here in the group, I can also upload files if I'd like to share some financials or I'd like to share something else with my group. And I can just start a discussion to ask questions about what are we doing next month, what do we expect, or if you have a question for your group about something going on in your business that you don't think merits raising to the level of proposing an issue. So this is really what Vistage is about at its core. First, you start with your homepage that has your group, and then if you go into your group, you get a little bit more detail. But we really want to make sure that you spend your time getting to know your group and interacting with your group because that's going to drive the highest level of engagement for you. Beyond that, there's a lot of other stuff in the Vistage community that we'd like to offer you. So once you've gotten comfortable with your group and you and your group are conversing online, setting up your meetings online, setting up goals online, and sharing information with each other, then you can just scroll down a little bit on the page and see what else the community has to offer. For instance, here on the homepage, we've got some recent blog posts. The My Vistage blog is one of the most widely read areas of the community, and it provides very good thought leadership. And we've also got trending content in the community. The interesting thing about this area of trending content is that it's actually tailored to you, based on what you have in your profile, based on the content you like to read, and based on who you're connected to. You might see different content here than your fellow member. The same is with these people you might be interested in here on the left-hand side. Some of these people are being recommended to me because we like the same type of content. For instance, States Hines here likes to read content with topics similar to what I like to read, and it's a fairly good match. So my Vistage is telling me that I might want to add him as a connection so that I can see his content in my updates. Now, if you look above the main area of the homepage, you've got your main navigation. This is important because we took what was most important to members and tried to lay it out in a way where everything was just a couple of clicks away. And it starts with this chevron right here. This is what we call Quicklinks, and if you click on it, it's your way to get to your stuff and to your most important links. From this drop-down, this Quicklinks drop-down, you can get to your content, your calendar, your connections. You can get back to Member Home, get over to Member Resources to learn a little bit more about what to expect from Vistage, and even get to a deeper set of Quicklinks that allows you to find things like Fridays with Vistage, your Vistage gear, or help and training with the community. Now let's go back to the home page. I want to show you something else. Many of you don't have images or avatars associated to your profile. So when you post online, all people see is a little gray man. I want to show you just how easy it is to add a photo. So the first thing we're going to do is we're actually going to delete my current photo and avatar so that you can see what it's like to start from scratch. So here really quickly, we've removed my photo and avatar, and as you can see up at the top, I now have this gray man with an add photo icon. Let's click on him, add a photo in one of the available boxes, browse for an image just like uploading anything else to the web, and hit upload and continue. The first thing that happens is my photo is cropped for me, and then I'm offered to make that photo my avatar as well. I want to make sure you understand that the avatar is the image that shows up next to your name or up here in the logo, whereas a photo is a full-sized photo associated to your profile. So I'm going to say yes to updating my avatar, and then I'm going to go ahead and crop and center that photo and hit finish. Now in just a couple of seconds, it's much easier for my fellow members to see what I'm posting and who I am when I post, and I've learned that this website is not so complicated at all. Now, sometimes you post in your group and sometimes you post out of your group, so I want to show you what it's like to browse the content that's yours. If you click on My Content right up here in the Quick Links, you'll see that you're taken to your own profile's Content tab. This should look very similar to the Group's Content tab, where you have a listing of content in order of when it was created. You can change the order, and you can also filter the content down by what's been posted. So I can look at all of my goals that have been posted, all of my issues. I can see if I've created a marketplace listing, which I'll show you how to do later, or I can see all of my discussions. This is a great way to just make sure you stay on top of your own content. The next thing I want to show you is, what if you need something beyond what your group has to offer? Let's say that you'd like to ask the community a question and see if there isn't some help that people can provide you. Well, it's as simple as hitting the Ask box up in the navigation. This type of head box actually lets you not only ask new questions, but very quickly find out if anybody has asked this question before. So I'm going to look for a recommendation on an attorney. And immediately I see that there's a few recommendations that have come up, and in fact some of them are legal recommendations. Let's say I'm looking for an attorney in Los Angeles though. Now I don't have somebody that's asked this specific question before, so I can go ahead and hit Ask It, and very quickly I'm guided through how to create a question that goes out to the rest of the My Vistage community. Now, every question that goes into the community is actually placed into its corresponding location. So this question might actually be moved from, let's say, the community homepage to strategy and management or business operations, depending on what I wrote in the details of my request. We would also then send that question off to other members that might be in a position to answer it. We would also send it to chairs on your behalf to see if anybody has a recommendation they could give you. And if all else fails, we might even include a question in the newsletter, because we do everything we can to ensure that your questions get answers. Now let's go back and let's take a look at the questions that have been asked and answered somewhere else. Let's say I run a company that does websites. So I go to the marketing and sales area, and I want to see if anybody's asked questions about websites. Well, no problem. I'll just click on More Content here under Join the Conversation, and I can see all of the discussions that have happened. If anything here matches what I'm looking for, I can go into it and provide my own answer. One of the reasons you might want to get involved in asking and answering questions is the opportunity to build business relationships. I can tell you for a fact that there's a member who's paid for his membership more than a few times over by just helping other Vistage members in this particular area of the website. He's actually gone and answered questions that relate to needing support on web development or website creation. And after he provides his answer, he says, by the way, I run a company that does this. And as a result, other members have reached out to him and said, hey, if you run a company that does websites, I have a website that needs to get done. From what I understand, the last I heard from this member, he's actually paid for his membership 10 times over in doing this. So there's a huge benefit in not only getting help to the questions that you have, but also providing help when you are able to offer it, because there's a lot of benefit that happens when you put your name out there and help other members. One of the ways that you might want to stay on top of an area like this is to follow it. By default, when you're following an area, you're going to follow it in the connection stream. But you're also able to follow it in the inbox if you'd like this red number up here to go up every time a new item is created. Or you might be able to create new streams if you'd like. Now that I've unchecked all the boxes, I've actually stopped following this. Following is a great way to stay on top of content without necessarily creating more email for yourself. Let me show you how to do that. Let's say that I want to create a stream that doesn't generate any email for me. I'm going to say create a new stream here, and I'm going to call it Marketing and Sales. Once I'm done, I can see that I've got a marketing and sales stream with nothing in it. Let's go over to the marketing and sales area of the community. And let's now follow this community in that marketing and sales stream. What I just did is create a way for me to go and read all of the latest content that's happening in marketing and sales without being sent an email about it and without having to discern what content is what. So if I click on updates now, I can click on my stream on the right-hand side and see all of the newest content for marketing and sales. And in fact, I'll even be alerted to content that I've yet to read. Each one of these gray boxes here lets me know how much content is there that I haven't read before. This is a great way to make sure that you stay on top of content and you're able to get more out of the MyVistage platform. Now let's talk about other ways to get more out of MyVistage. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to look at the My Community area, and I'm going to show you a few areas of interest here. We talked a little bit about asking and answering questions, joining the conversation, which is the first area of the community. The second is researching. MyVistage has a tremendous amount of articles, content, videos, downloadables, and other items that have been created by us, by fellow members, by chairs, and by speakers, giving you a wealth of information right at your fingertips that you can download and save for yourself, that you can read on the fly, and that you can use to answer questions you might have about how to get the most out of your business. Going down a little bit further, now you have the ability to share status with other members in the community. You can browse one of our more popular networks. For instance, the Information Technology Network has over 2,500 members in it. And you can even browse marketplace listings. I'll actually show you a little bit more about these areas. So if I scroll up a little, all over the website, I'm going to see this box. You see this box on your homepage as a member, you see it in your group, and you see it here in the community areas. And this box is the top content areas that you can get in MyVistage. The first one is the Fridays with Vistage box. Let's actually click it and take a look at what's in here. Fridays with Vistage is a group where you can come and take a look at all the upcoming webinars that happen every single Friday so that you can join a webinar live and interact with the speaker, interact with your fellow members. But what a lot of people don't realize is that not only does Vistage host live webinars, we also have a webinar library that goes all the way back to 2009. So if Fridays don't work for you and your staff, you could come here and click on one of the latest webinars, and you could actually download a video file, a Mac and iPad compatible video file, the PowerPoint deck of a presentation, and even an MP3 of the latest presentation, so that you can get this content and share it with your staff in a conference room, watch it on an iPad or a phone while you're on the go, or even listen to it in your car if you'd like. This is a great way to make sure that you get more out of My Vistage without having to spend more of your time out of the office. Now let's go back to the Fridays with Vistage group and take a look at one of our other content areas. The second content area I'd like to show you is best practices. Best practices is by far the most trafficked area in the entire Vistage community. It's been totally revamped recently so that there are 22 brand new and edited best practices that help you learn more about how to do things in your business. For instance, let's take a look at this human resources section, and we'll look at this best practice on executive compensation. Here, I can meet all of the authors of this best practice so that if I have a question for somebody, I can go ahead and ask it. And I can see that my content has been broken down into 3 subsections: an executive summary, expert practices, and tools and analysis. If I click into expert practices, now I've got a few highlighted recommended resources, and I can see that the authors have provided me quite a few other items that I can take a look at. And if I look at, let's say, this key elements of executive compensation article, not only do I have the authors on the right-hand side and the ability to read the article, but I can even comment on the article if I'd like, so that I can get some feedback from the authors on what exactly they meant by a particular portion. Or let's say I really like this article and I'd like to email a copy to somebody on my staff. No problem. Just click the PDF button and then click on email. You'll be able to send to your staff a PDF of the article that they can read without having to log into the My Vistage website. Now let's look at the next area of content for the community. The member marketplace is the one area of the community where it's safe for you to share your products and services with other Vistage members. In other areas of the community, we do ask that you share content or that you provide reasonable answers to the questions of your fellow members before you share your products or services. That way, we build a community that's centered around content. But let's say that I'm looking for maybe a mobile commerce solution from a fellow Vistage member, somebody that I trust. No problem. I come to the marketplace, I click on this, I can see that the members provided me with contact information, a description of their business, a description of the offer. Some of these best practices, some of these marketplace listings actually have downloadable brochures, they have limited time offers, Vistage exclusive offers, and you as a member can create a marketplace listing with just a few clicks. Let's actually take a look at how easy that would be. Here I am in the marketplace, which is accessible again from the tools and resources box, or is also accessible from the community dropdown. So the community dropdown lets me get to those best practices, all of the areas of the community, including the marketplace. Once you're here, you simply click Create a Listing, and we guide you through how to do this. Some of your information will be pre-filled in, and you'll save that information and move on to the actual listing itself, which allows you to set different contact info if you don't want to be the one taking the call, information about your company. You can set some special badges, so you can say something is a limited time offer, exclusive to Vistage, or has limited availability. You can set a description, including embedding videos or other HTML, upload your logo, and categorize your listing. Once you're done, other Vistage members will be able to find out a little bit more about you and your company. The last resource I want to show you is the Member Resources area. Member Resources is exactly what it sounds like. It's how to be a Vistage member. We can show you items like updates or announcements from Vistage here. We feature some items like your Quicklinks that you saw earlier, or this featured item called Maximize Your Membership. Maximize Your Membership helps you get the most out of your membership. It teaches you how to have better one-to-ones, what to expect of your group meetings, how you can network and connect with other members, and even where to find some of that best community content like what I've been showing you in this video. I highly recommend that every member that hasn't seen this area take a moment to browse through all of the content so that they can make sure that they get the most out of their investment in Vistage. One of the most important aspects of Vistage membership is the group meeting. And before, the only way to get to the group meeting or to find out what the agenda of the group meeting was to look through your email. As of July 2014, we'll have a new group calendar that allows you to not only see the agenda and the information online, but actually sends this to you as a calendar invitation that you can accept in your Outlook inbox so that you can make sure that your calendar always contains the meeting information, the agenda, and even the ability to get directions to the meeting. Here, I'm looking at the meeting that's been created online, and I can see that my chair has created an agenda, has added a host location. I can even pull up the map to the location, directions. I could propose an issue for this meeting or RSVP. Once I've done all of that, I will be sent the calendar invitation, or I will have RSVP'd via the calendar invitation so that I can make sure I get to my meeting. But one of the requests that we get the most is, couldn't this all be available via a mobile app? So I'd like to take a moment to show you that now. Along with the calendar functionality that releases in July of 2014, you're also going to have a mobile application. In this mobile application, you'll log in, and immediately the first thing you'll see is your group meeting. Now, this particular mobile application I'm looking at has a virtual meeting, so I have the ability to change my RSVP, but there's no directions required. I'm just going to click on the virtual meeting link. However, if this was an in-person meeting, this button right here would have Get Directions, and I would actually be able to click on that button, flip over to my phone's map application, and get turn-by-turn directions to my meeting. So there's no more missing meetings for anybody. Now, if I click on the icon up at the top, I actually get to see a little bit more about what's available to me. Right from the mobile app, I'll have the ability to look at all my fellow members, including, by the way, looking up contact information for your members. If I go into a member's profile and I'm on my phone and I click the phone icon, my phone will actually start dialing that fellow member. I can look at my group's content, the issues and goals in my group, calendar in my group, so I can see future meetings or past meetings, and I can even provide speaker feedback so they don't have to do any more paper forms. This is what the calendar of upcoming meetings looks like, so that if I hadn't RSVP'd via my calendar or via my email, and I hadn't RSVP'd via the website, but I wanted to make sure a meeting ended up in my calendar, I could actually come to this page, click on an upcoming meeting, click on Add to Calendar, and via my phone, I'll now have the meeting in my calendar. And if your phone is anything like mine, it means that you now have your meeting in your Outlook as well. So this is the meeting details, and you can see here that I can actually add it to my calendar. I can pull up directions to the meeting if I'd like. I can see who's attending and what issues have been proposed. I can even change my RSVP status down below. Once the meeting is already started, I'll actually even be able to change my attendance status, and my chair will be able to mark my attendance so that I can figure out when I've been arriving to my meetings and how many meetings I've gone to. Here's what the attendance looks like from a member point of view, so that I know who's going to be coming to the meeting, and I can make sure that if Mark isn't going to be able to make it, I can look and find out why not and see if there's anything I can do to help. One of the last things and most important things that I can do as a Vistage member in my mobile app is to provide feedback. When I'm in the app and I click on the feedback link, I'll see if there are any open surveys. It's important to provide feedback because if I let Vistage know how my speaker was and what I got out of it, they'll be able to make sure that they always provide the most high-quality speakers. So feedback can be done with just one thumb. I'll click on feedback. Here's my open survey, and I can say, yes, I was at my meeting. I can see that my speaker name was Joe Speaker. I'll hit next with my thumb. Let's give Joe quite a few high scores. I can say that yes, I would recommend it. If I have a comment about the speaker, I might need a second finger so I can type with my phone. I'll hit next. Now I get a little bit of feedback about my latest group meeting or one-to-one session. Give that positive scores. Again, if you'd like to provide a comment, you might need a couple of thumbs. And once a quarter, I'll be asked a few questions about how I feel about Vistage, so that we can make sure that we're always providing you the best possible experience. Submit your feedback, and you're done. So coming back to my Vistage, I want to take a moment to just say thank you for your time, and I really do hope that you use this website to get more out of your Vistage experience. The more engaged you are, and the more you get out of it, the better the whole community is for it. So thanks again, and if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. You can find me by just searching for Andy Ramirez in the search box. This is what my profile looks like. And as you can see down below, you've got my contact info right here should you need anything. Thank you very much, and have a great day.